Culture swap.
Swap my culture.
I've really struggled to remember the name of the segment there.
God of War. We did God of War. We did it on the PlayStation 4. That rhymes.
We technically completed this a while ago.
I got, like, as regular listeners will know, I'm all about the trophies. I got a platinum trophy for this like a month ago.
Yeah, and I finished the game. I think I finished the game just after you and Dan.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gone back to it to do the extra stuff because I'm alright.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to. One of the things that I like about it is you can platinum the game without getting 100% on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so like when you look at the map, it kind of tells you what's remaining, and like one of the things that you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to is opening all of the chests, and that counts to that area being 100% complete. So you can. There's other stuff.
Fair enough.
Another thing that I like is there's a few secret things in it that also you don't really need to do.
Speaking of secret things, listeners, if you're planning to play God of War and don't want it spoiled, we are going to spoil it. So go play it and then listen to us. Or if you don't care, just listen to us.
I don't really remember what happened in it, so I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh, don't worry, I'm going to spoil it.
Atreus was a dick. I remember that. I didn't like him.
Atreus?
You and Dan liked him. I didn't like him.
You don't like kids?
I don't like kids. That's shit. No, that's not true. I like some kids. Like the Stranger Things kids.
You like very few kids?
Yeah. I like the kids that, are talented. Atreus was a little shit.
Atreus.
He was a little shit, though. The thing is,
no. So he becomes a little shit towards the end of the story, specifically where he becomes a real shit.
That's the thing.
At the beginning, he is kind of sweet and just wants his dad to love him.
No, because I was like, this kid's a dickhead throughout a lot of it, and you and Dan were like, oh no, he's all right, and then he actually does become a proper dickhead. I was like, what I've been saying.
But then he resolves it and ends the story with him not being a dickhead.
I don't like him.
Basically, listeners, this is so me and Liam haven't played any of the old God of War games.
No, I haven't played.
You've not played any. No,
I have the third one, the remastered version. I haven't played.
I think I played the third one on a friend's old console when it first came out.
Yeah.
But never played the story. It was just us running around fighting things.
Yeah.
So from what I know of the story, it started in Greek mythology. You're playing as Kratos, who his family get murdered by the gods. It turns out somehow that Zeus is his dad. He gets pissed off at all the gods, and then he goes around killing all the Greek gods. Then I think there's been a number of spin-off games where he goes to Egypt and kills all the Egyptian gods, and then he goes to some other mythologies and just murders their gods.
Yeah.
So this time they go to Norse mythology.
Yes.
And for once, Kratos isn't hellbent on killing the gods.
He's mourning.
He's sad
because his wife is dead.
His wife has died. You start the game with a dead wife.
Do you know if that happens in a previous game or?
I don't think so.
Okay, so. Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, this is all I think there's meant to have been, since the last game, there's meant to have been a time gap.
Yeah.
Are you playing a game on your phone?
No, I was going through my emails and just realised that I haven't done an email that I was meant to respond to earlier.
Well, that's fine. Do it after we record. Put your phone away.
You're boring me.
We're talking about God of War.
Yeah, I know, and I'm bored of it.
A game you liked.
I did like it.
Yeah. Stop being a little bitch.
No, you just didn't need my input for this bit. You're giving the synopsis. It's great. You're doing a really good job.
Yourself. Thanks, buddy. Kratos tries to help his son learn to be a real man, but sort of not really because they're gods. Doesn't tell his son that he's a god.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the kid is kind of all right at the beginning, while he's just like, we're gonna go take my mum's ashes up a mountain.
I still found the kid annoying. I can't remember exactly why I found him annoying at the beginning.
Yeah,
but I think it's because he's a bit of a whiny little shit.
Towards the beginning, he does just sort of. I think the whole thing though is from the way they talk. I think it's meant to be that Kratos hasn't been around.
Yeah, that, and he's sort of been raised by his mum, and then this guy comes in. He's rocked
back up in this kid's life and been like, "Hey, sorry, your mum's dead."
Yeah. The thing is, they were very, very obviously trying to, not replicate, but emulate maybe. They were trying to tap into the relationship that made The Last of Us so good.
I knew they were.
They were. That's what they were trying to do.
No, it isn't.
That's what they were trying to do.
No, that's such a load of wank.
If you read probably any interview with any of the story writers or whatever, they'll probably reference Last of Us as being a sort of touching point of what they wanted.
Yeah, but
they fell short.
You can't just write off a game because it's got an element that's similar. It's so different to The Last of Us.
No, right. The game...
In The Last of Us, you don't play as a Greek god throwing a frost axe at fucking zombies with your son shooting lightning bolts out of his bow.
The gameplay is different, but what they were trying to replicate... was that
The story's
core,
different.
like,
But no, yeah, you're right. It's The
emotional
Last of Us.
thread, that core emotional thread, that relationship. They were trying to get you on board with that relationship, and it just didn't work for me. Not because it wasn't The Last of Us, but because I didn't like the kid.
It's
That's
100% because it wasn't The Last of Us. Liam cannot forget The Last of Us. He's such a little bummer for that game.
It's a great game. But I mean, you've never completed it.
Wouldn't know.
Exactly. But yeah, like, it's a, what's the word? It's a worthy sort of experience to try and tap into. I just don't think that they succeeded with what they were trying to do with the relationship. I like the story stuff. I personally didn't need the kid there.
Well, I mean, if you don't have the kid there, even if... So let's take away the relationship part of the story. If you don't have the kid there, there is nothing tying Kratos into Norse mythology, so the whole thing falls apart.
Why can't he just have to go and, like, scatter the ashes?
But because then it wouldn't matter. Like, the only reason the Norse gods are trying to stop him is because there's a giant child still in the world trying to reopen the way to Jotunheim.
So why don't they just do something different?
You know that's my least favourite argument of yours, when you just go, why isn't it just different, though?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
do it different.
Yeah.
I hate that argument.
Easy.
Because it's such a bullshit cop-out.
No, I didn't like the relationship.
I think it's a really cool way that they've tied... Like, my favourite thing about the story in this game is that they took Norse mythology and they kept, like, some core elements there.
Yeah.
And then wove Kratos through it.
Yeah.
By making the kid Loki.
No, that was stupid.
No. It's good in that it's not a bullshit, like... So they haven't gone for the, like, straight up... Because it would have been bullshit if, like... Because when I realised he was Loki, because I saw it online, it was spoiled on something, and I was like, fuck, I'm just going to ignore it and pretend I don't know.
Yeah.
But I knew he was Loki.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to pretend it wasn't. But I was expecting there to be a twist at the end where it was like, I'm not really your son. I'm the trickster god. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
So I like that it didn't do the cliche Loki, where it's just like the trickster god being a little prankster, and instead this kid is like a normal god. The fact that they take these Norse mythology and then twist it just enough that you can see it's still the Norse mythology.
Yeah.
But following, like, the rules of this world. Yeah. Like, the fact that Odin and Thor and Balder are dicks. Like, that's interesting. I like when they do that with... I think it's a really interesting take on Norse mythology.
I liked the dude with the head. Who was he?
Mimir.
Mimir. He was brilliant. He was great.
Yeah, Mimir's great.
Yeah, he was good. Right. Fuck the kid. Get rid of him. Gone. Just have Kratos and Mimir rocking around.
Yes, but why?
To scatter the ashes.
But then why would the gods give a shit?
Because they're like, oh, Kratos is naughty. Let's kill him.
No. It's a pile of wank. You're a pile of wank. There is one issue I have with the story.
Okay.
Early on, there is a scene, and this has stuck with me the entire time I played the game.
Yeah.
And I've been waiting to talk about it here. Because it's just a weird discrepancy that either I don't get what they were trying to do with it.
Okay.
Or it's just like a slip up.
Yeah.
And fair enough. But towards the beginning, Atreus is talking about how his mum has taught him all this mythology.
Yeah.
And really early on, Kratos they're talking about the giants in Jotunheim, and Kratos is like, "Oh, giants! I've beaten giants." And then Atreus is like, "Oh no, they're not actually giant. That's what the species is called. You're thinking of too literally."
Yeah.
And then at the end, when you get to Jotunheim and you look out at the landscape, it is giant corpses all around. And I was like, so after telling me that the giants weren't giant, you are now showing me all of the dead giants.
Yeah.
Which is just a weird... It was just a weird, like... It's fine, because in Norse mythology, the giants, like, could shrink and grow was their thing.
Okay.
So, like, that makes sense. You don't need to have a scene where Atreus is very specifically like, they're not giants.
Yeah.
It was just a weird thing.
I didn't really pick up on it, but like
it's such a minor thing. I just picked up on it because I was then like, oh, cool, they're doing like the giants are actually normal sized people, and then at the end I was like, why am I seeing all these giant bodies?
Because like I didn't hate the story. I don't want it to come across like I hated the story. I just hated the core emotional relationship that they tried to get you to buy into. But the actual story itself was fine. I really liked. You're going to have to help me up with the name. The guy that did the voice of Kratos.
It is...
From Stargate?
Christopher Judge?
Stargate?
Yeah, Christopher Judge. Stargate SG-1.
Yeah. Really liked him. Kat got really annoyed because after age I would go around being like, boy!
And it's one of the best things about the game.
Yeah, it really is. Kat didn't like it. Yeah. And my favourite quote, which I said to Kat once, and she nearly bit my head off, was this is such a good quote from the game though. It's "Don't be sorry, be better."
Yes, yeah.
That's a great quote. Don't say it to your other half. Is my advice.
I can imagine Kat not being happy with you saying that to her.
No, because she did something. She went sorry, and I was just like, "Don't be sorry, be better." And she was not.
What about Freya? What's your thoughts on?
Yeah, I like that.
Freya?
I didn't see the twist coming necessarily.
No.
Um,
One of the things was I didn't, because I know, like, I'm a bit of a mythology fan, and I deliberately didn't go and look up any Norse mythology while I was playing it, because I was like, there are going to be things that ruin elements of the game story.
yeah.
Because, like, even though it is different, stuff like Balder being killed by Loki with a sprig of mistletoe, that is Norse mythology.
Yeah.
It's just slightly different to the way they do it in the game. So I was, like, deliberately avoiding stuff like Freya and Balder, which is the actual story. Like, Freya makes Balder invincible. In the actual story, he's pretty cool with it, because he's like, I can't be killed. And I did like the take on this, where he's just like, no, I hate you all. I can't feel anything.
Yeah, he says that a lot, doesn't he? It's like,
He's very angry.
Feel anything.
Yeah.
I like
who played him? Because it was someone I know who. Jeremy Davies. I know him from something.
Is that the guy from plays Gimli in Lord of the Rings? No, that's Jonathan. Never mind.
Is it? Does he play Merry? No, not Merry. No. It's no. Who is it? I know him because I remember when I saw the face, because they clearly face capped him.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I know who this is.
Well, what's the name?
Jeremy Davies.
I don't know who that is.
I'm just waiting for my internet to connect. Or not. Fuck it, internet. Why would you?
The guy that's in Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. Oh yeah, it does look like him. He's in Saving Private Ryan. He's in Twister. He's in American Gods. He's in Twin Peaks. Apparently he's in Hannibal. He's in Lost.
I've seen him around on stuff. Yeah, that's it. Lost. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I liked him as like the antagonist. I thought it was a cool idea. I really enjoyed the gameplay to this.
Yeah, the gameplay's really good.
For the most, a couple of the puzzles I found a bit annoying, but there was nothing that was ever like, oh, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do now. It was always, you could do it, but there's maybe bits where like I had to backtrack a bit further than I really wanted to do something.
Yeah, early on when I was trying to get all the rune, when you go into, so you can go into areas where there are these little runes scattered around, and if you get 3, you unlock part of an item that increases your health. So I was like, well, I should get them because that's useful. There were a couple of those where I spent like 15 minutes in one area looking for the last sigil, and I was like,
that's annoying.
I don't know what the fuck I'm meant to be doing.
There's
and then it would be somewhere stupid, and I was like, that feels a bit cheaty. So it's not a puzzle, it's just hidden.
Did you ever do the like, they're not like secret areas, but the areas that you have to unlock? There's one that's all fiery.
The two other realms.
Yeah, where you get like the best armor.
Niflheim. And
something else.
Muspelheim or Musgard or something.
Yeah, or
I tried both of them so that I would be able to talk about them a little bit. But like, I did the first part of the fire one, and I did the first bit of the poison one.
Yeah, I did them because there was trophies related to them.
Yeah.
The fire one, the way that works is like you have like waves of enemies that you have to beat, and there'd be different like conditions. So it might be like do it without getting hurt is one, or do it in this time limit. I found that more annoying than the poison one, which was quite fun in the end, where this poison like slowly drains your health, but as you progress in the area and progress with unlocking the armor and stuff, you also get like poison resistance.
Yeah.
So you can stay in the area longer and get better armor, and it sort of cycles quite nicely. Not cycles. What's the word? Snowballs. Whatever. I loved the combat. I thought the combat was amazing. My favourite thing was throwing an axe and then recalling it and getting it to hit enemies on the way back to me. It was just so much fun. Like, it was pretty much the first thing I did, and I was like, I wonder if I'd ever get bored of this. Didn't. Just loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, no, the axes. I liked the Chaos Blades when you get them.
Yeah, but the axe is better.
I used them for a little bit and then was like, but the axe is more fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my favourite thing to do was to throw it into a wall.
Yeah.
and then wander around the level for a while, and then eventually call it back and be like, this is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, combat was really good. The graphics were great. Can't really complain with them. Had no issues with that. It was just a fun game. Like, while I was just annoyed by, one of the main characters, I still had a real good time playing the game. And I had no issues with getting the trophies. Like, it took a bit longer to get all the trophies than just completing the game. Like, if you were to be like, right, from the point where you're at now, where you've completed the main story, if you then wanted to go off and get the trophies, you're probably looking at like another 5 to 10 hours, I reckon.
Yeah.
But that I don't think is like an unreasonable demand on top of just getting the story done to then go and do a load of extra stuff, I think.
No, yeah, for people that give a shit about trophies.
Yeah, it's quite nice. The only thing I will say is I was maybe expecting the game to be a little bit bigger. When you look at how big, like, what turns out to be the main area is, because you're then told that main area essentially is you visit it through different realms, but all of the other realms that you visit, it's a real like condensed amount of exploration. The only
one that feels it's not as big, but that feels on a similar sort of scale is the Light Elf world.
Yeah,
because you're in there for quite a while, and when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. So like every world's going to be like this. Also annoying that a bunch of the realms are locked off.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which makes sense, like, story-wise, but the way it was described in-game made it sound like you would be getting to go to them.
Yeah, and it made... I thought, oh, is that going to be DLC? And then I read somewhere with the developers that they weren't intending on doing DLC for this game.
No, but the fact that there is probably going to be another one, based on how the story ends,
and also
makes me
how
think,
well it's sold.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's, the next game will probably have all those realms in it.
Yeah, maybe.
And assumedly, you beating the shit out of Odin.
Yeah, makes sense. Finding the ravens was annoying.
Yeah, understandably. Here's the thing, I'm gonna have no sympathy for you on these bits because
it wasn't something you had to do
it.
But
No.
I mean, it does help you with the game. It does help you unlock something, doesn't it? Helps with
Nope.
It helps that Odin stops spying on you.
Oh yes, the core part of the game it has no impact on gameplay.
There you go then. I enjoyed it.
It's really good. I love some of the designs for like some of the other realms, like the realm Hell.
Yeah.
Which is HEL, like that giant bird in the background. Just always sitting there. I think that's such a cool design.
And the giant serpent as well was cool.
Yeah, Jormungandr.
Something like that.
Jormungandr, yeah. And the way they do his giant speech.
Yeah, that, and also the way that, like, at the main area, you unlock more of it as you progress through the game, as the serpent moves and the water level's lower.
Yes, yeah.
That was cool.
He feels big as well.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
That's one of the things this game does really well. Like when you fight the dead giant at the end.
Yeah.
Like that feels big.
What did you think of the boss fights?
I think they're fun. The only one that gave me any difficulty was the border fights.
Yeah.
Everything else was like the dragon. I thought was going to be the dragon that you fight as a boss. I was like, oh, this is going to be real difficult.
Yeah.
And it was pretty not gimmicky, but like it's given you a method of. It's pretty obvious what you got to do.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember who else you fight. The two sons of Thor.
Yeah, that was
an interesting fight, but it's not a difficult fight. It's mainly Baldur. Like it's the first fight you have with Baldur where the game sort of is like, this is going to be tough, and then you actually spend most of the game being like, oh no, it's not.
To be fair, I wasn't playing it on a hardest difficulty.
No, neither was I. I think I was on normal.
Yeah, same. So, and that's another thing. There were no trophies related to difficulty. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing.
But it doesn't force you to replay the game, which I think is...
Yeah, but I don't mind if it's like, oh, if you do it on the hardest, it unlocks all of the other ones. That's why I tend to play games on the hardest settings, if they have that, like, stackable.
But I think that's good that it...
doesn't force you to do something like that.
Yeah, because if you don't enjoy playing it on hard...
Yeah.
For someone like you, it would be bullshit if it was a ridiculously hard game and you were like, I can't get that trophy because it's just so difficult.
Yeah.
So, like, to me it makes sense, but then I couldn't give a shit about the trophies.
Yeah. But yeah, I just liked it. I think probably one of the more fun, like, action RPG type games, although the RPG elements are minimal.
Yeah, it's literally just the unlocking new skills, and that's it.
There's one thing we haven't talked about yet.
Go on.
How awesome Sindri is. I can't remember what his brother's called. What's his brother's name? Brock. Sindri's so much better than Brock.
No, Brock is so much better than Sindri. No.
Utter bullshit. Utter
Incorrect.
Chatting out of your arse.
Incorrect.
Just torrent of shit.
You're just full
spewing forth from your mouth.
Shit.
I didn't realise your eyes were brown.
They're not, so what a silly thing for you to say.
Cat's ours, though, and she hates it when I'm like, your eyes are brown because you're so full of shit.
Jesus. Sindri's fine. I like
Sindri's
both the
awesome.
dwarves. I like both the dwarves. I just prefer Brock.
Brock's this, like, uncouth, like, gruff, like, sweary dwarf, and Sindri's this, like, beautiful princess of a dwarf.
Sindri's a weaponsmith who can't touch weapons without nearly throwing up.
He's brilliant.
I do love, one of my favourite things about the dwarves is the like sort of running gag of them being like these super magical creatures that just no one, like the fact that they turn up everywhere.
Oh yeah, because they can like teleport.
And Kratos is like, no, you said you can't, you said no one can get here, and they're like, yeah, but we can.
Yeah.
And he's like, how? And they're like, we just like walk through stuff.
Yeah.
And we're here. And
they
no
like
one
step
understands
through
them.
realms in a way, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fucking they have that, there's like a competition running throughout the game between the two brothers before they come back together.
Yeah, they're trying to like
every time you meet one they upgrade your axe.
Yeah.
And the way they do it is they pick up your axe, the camera sort of stays on Kratos, and then they just immediately give you the axe back. Or they hit it once with a hammer and give it back to you, and you're like, what? This is ridiculous.
But yeah, Sindri is amazing. I don't really have any other thoughts on it.
I just think it's genuinely, if people are interested in Norse mythology, it's a really cool take on something that is already a really interesting subject. Like, Norse mythology is awesome, and looking at this spin on it, it's definitely not like accurate. Like, you couldn't make it through a Norse mythology class based on playing God of War, but it sticks pretty close to the material and then does its own take on it, and I think it's awesome.
I don't know a lot about Norse mythology.
After finishing the game, I went and listened to a podcast called Myths and Legends and downloaded all of the Norse mythology episodes because this game rekindled my love for Norse mythology. It's pretty cool.
Out of 5?
I think I give it like a 4, probably.
I would agree with that.
Like, it's not the best game I've ever played, but
it's
I
fun.
loved it.
It was fun.
Finished it, and
the other thing, it wasn't like The Witcher 3, where it really outstayed its welcome. I felt like it was a good length.
Yeah, that's fair.
So solid 4. Next time on Nerd or Nerd, we are doing a graphic novel because we realised we haven't done one of those in a while.
Nope, been quite a while.
Ages. We're going to do a superhero-y graphic novel because it's been even longer since we've done one of those. I think we've only ever done one in the past.
Yeah. We must have done a Marvel one at some point, right?
Don't think we have.
Well, we're doing our first Marvel one, and we're going for a weird character, so...
We're going for Spider-Gwen Volume 0, Most Wanted?
It has a question mark, so Liam's reading it as a question. I've read a bunch of these before. I don't know if Volume 0 will cover everything I've read, but I'm excited. Spider-Gwen is my favourite of the Spidey characters.
I know nothing about Spider-Gwen. Nothing.
You're going to hate her, I think, but we'll see.
Alright then. Is she like you?
What does that mean?
How can people get in contact?
You can tweet us at nerdornerd. You can email us at nerdornerdpod@gmail.com. You can Facebook us at facebook.com/nerdornerdpod, all one word. You can review us on iTunes. Go search us on iTunes, we're there, and then give us a 5-star. And you can comment on our YouTube, although you'll be commenting on super out-of-date videos that aren't relevant anymore because Liam refuses to change my name. So they're all a completely outdated person who doesn't like that name, but they're still there.
Yes. It's great. We'll catch up though. It won't take long.
It's going to take like a year. Anyway.
It is. But
Liam!
You can find the Superman stuff there.
That's true. You go listen to the Superman stuff. Also, Liam.
Yeah.
How's your DVD tally going?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You had all those problems with your Blu-ray player, so I assume you've not done much.
What was it last time?
Liam, your last number was 1,101.
Okay. Cool.
What is it now?
It is 1,101.
So that's the last 3 times we've checked the number, Liam. It hasn't changed.
Which just means that I'm watching as I'm buying, which is a good position to be in.
Except your goal is to get down to 1,091. So all you need to do is watch 10 films, Liam, without buying 10 more, and you haven't been able to do it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, another Blu-ray player's back. Everything's changed. This is a
Yeah.
new. Oh, the problem is I'm currently playing a lot of PlayStation. Like I've got really into Bloodborne, so that's taken up a lot of time. But I think I'm maybe not on the next episode because I've got stuff arriving. But maybe before like the end of the year, I reckon I can do this.
Well, yeah, that's your goal. I mean, don't say that's not filling me with confidence because that is your goal. So it's when you're like, maybe I can do it. That's not like super endorsement.
I think I can maybe do
Jesus.
this. Cat's whinging at me.
To get rid of the pile.
Yeah, she doesn't want to move with this many DVDs.
Yeah. Understandably.
It doesn't really concern her.
Jesus. Any final thoughts?
If I was a god, I wouldn't want it to be of war. I'd want it to be of love.
Boy.
Bye.